wait for it to start up here. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me on another Overwatch console button mapping guide. Today, we're going to be talking about Sigma, brand new, just dropped today for consoles. I had this funny thing happen where I thought I had it all planned out, right? I knew exactly where all the buttons were going to go, how it was going to be, and I wrote out my everything, my script, right? My script, because it's very loose, and then I and then I started playing them after the download came out and realized, oh, I have to retool everything. So more than meets the eye, Sigma is a 62-year-old Dutch astrophysicist named Sybren de Kuiper from the Netherlands that, after a failed experiment with black holes and gravity, went crazy, and then he got kidnapped and brainwashed by Talon. He is a Talon tank. He has 300 health and 100 shields for a total of 400 HP. And your too long didn't read, which probably should have came first, is we are going to put his primary fire on R2/right trigger. Shield is going to be on R1/right bumper. His Kinetic Grasp, that's his absorb, is going to be on X or A. X for PlayStation and A for Xbox. The boulder is going to be on L1/left bumper, and jump will be on L2 and left trigger, and his ultimate's going to stay on triangle/Y. And there is a very real reason for that. I really wanted to leave the button defaults for this guy on default, and I still think that's fine, but I'm going to mention about what is happening there. So let's get into it. Into the practice range we shall go, and I'll do more. I will do more in-depth analysis. I've changed his outfit to the Talon skin. Looks very nice. I love it. So, here he is in all his glory. So, let's talk about his primary fire. It's his hyperspheres, which are these two things that I'm holding in my hands. Let's see. It is a 2-round, so they're called hyperspheres. It's a 2-round burst that sends splash. They're imploding splash projectiles. They go out to a certain distance before they implode. A direct hit will do 60 damage. What is this? A direct hit is 60 damage. For each gravitic charge, so those are called gravitic charges. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Which I should be. So they'll hit with 60 damage for a total of 120 per shot. You can see he has infinite ammo there. He doesn't have to reload, but it is small. So if I just press the trigger, this is the fire rate, right? The splash damage is 10.5 to 35 per charge. And it has a 3.3 meter implosion radius. It will also deal self damage to you. Let's test this out. Yep. So look how I'm taking damage. I'll just take enough. There we go. Yep. So there's how you can damage yourself. Let's see. It bounces off walls, so it has a 24 meter range, so that goes out to 24 meters. It falls slightly, and it has a 50 meters per second speed, and it does a total of 80 DPS, so it's 2 charges per 1.5 seconds, and I have 80 damage per second. So I'm going to trust my math. Bounces off walls, as you can see, has a slight grav effect. It is extremely slight. It might be enough to pull a Widow off of a headshot. That's as much as it can do. And then here's a reticle tip. So we're going to go into reticles right now because I did test this out. in length, and you can actually also see all of my button bits here. So the reticle, I put it on circle. I like the color green because nothing else is like that in the game. Center gap, put that at 60. Everything else I kept normal, and then dot opacity I put it to 0. There's no headshots, no need for a dot. And we'll just do the rest. I'll just scale, I'll just sort of go down all of this whole thing. So you can see, feel free to pause the video to just see exactly how I'm doing my key bindings here. And then nothing for there. So the reason why I have this circle is because that's his hitbox. So his hitbox, the hitbox of these spheres is such that they will do a direct hit if the target is anywhere within that circle. So that's important. Let's talk about his experimental barrier, which is on R1/right bumper. So this bumper has 1500 health. Or sorry, not this bumper. This shield has 1500 health and regenerates 175 shields per second after being down for 2 seconds. And there's a 5-second cooldown if it's destroyed. It's 6 meters wide. It takes 0.2 seconds to cast. The speed is 16.5 meters per second. So when I cast it out, that's going out 16.5 meters per second. That is the same speed as a Reinhardt charge and a Doomfist punch. So if you have an ally like a Reinhardt, you could say, okay, Reinhardt, follow the shield, and he'll go with the shield. Let's see. Goes forward while you're holding. So while you hold L1 and left bumper, it will go. It will stay there unless you dismiss it by pressing the shield button again, which in our case is L1 left bumper. And it will travel forever, but it will stop with walls. So once it runs into a wall, it will stop. And then I just want you to take a look at this. So you have to hold it in, but then you could press it to recall it, and you could do this to send it out again. And then if you, say, are somewhere else, like, uh-oh, you need the shield over there now, if you hold it in, it will dismiss and launch. So check out the timing. So that will be how you do that. So you can send it out, and then if you want to send it out again, it's pretty quick. Let's talk about his Kinetic Grasp. I put that on X and A. You absorb damage, and then you convert it into shields. So here's his in action. You can see now I have 401 with the little shield, with the little temporary. They are temporary shields. 40% of damage absorbed is converted into temporary shields for a maximum of 400. For a maximum of 400 shields, which means it can absorb 1200 damage. It lasts 2 seconds and has a 13-second cooldown. You can cancel it with accretion, which is the boulder. And then it works a lot like Diva's Matrix. Plus, Diva Matrix Plus. So, for instance, you can absorb and negate Hanzo's dragon arrow, so his ultimate, but just the arrow, not the dragons. More on that to come. The Grav from Zarya's Graviton Surge. Mei's Snowball, so her ult. It works exactly like Defense Matrix. But it just converts stuff into damage for yourself instead of negating it entirely. When it comes to Hanzo's ult and Moira's Coalescence, her ultimate, what it will do is you can activate it, right? You can activate it at Moira's Coalescence. It will absorb the damage that comes in contact with itself. So it'll absorb damage that comes in contact with the black orb, and it's actually a little like circle thing that's in front of you. So there's two things. There's the circle thing that's in front of you, and then there's Sigma. There's you right here. And so as the Coalescence comes in, your absorption, right, your Kinetic Grasp, will absorb this coalescence and convert it into shields. But because Moira's can go through everything, it's not negated, just that part literally in here. But the part that goes through will still affect you. Same thing with Hanzo's dragons. So the dragons, they'll come through you, and you will absorb some of their damage, but then the dragons will still be damaging you because it goes through that, which is essentially a barrier in front of you, and then through you. If that doesn't complicate things. Let's talk about accretion. We put that on L1/left bumper. You use gravity to create a boulder and hurl it at enemies.
It's just so simple.
Your move speed goes down by 75%, and you can get self-damage. So if you do it right next to a wall, you will hurt yourself, as you can see. It has a 2.5 meter explosion radius and a 0.2 casting time. It will deal 80 damage to an enemy, along with 15 to 50 splash damage. It moves, you throw it at 37.5 meters per second. It's on a 10-second cooldown, and it falls with gravity. So if somebody's far away, you might want to aim it up. The longer the distance between the casting of the rock and the target, the more effects happen and the more damage happens. So if you're just nearby and you do it,
That's it.
I heard there might be a glitch with the training bots, but in theory, if you cast it really close by to the target, it will knock them down, much like a one-man Reinhardt Shatter. So it will actually knock them down. It will stun them out of things. It can stun people out of ults. D.Va's Defense Matrix cannot eat it, so it's like one of the only projectiles that D.Va's Defense Matrix can't eat. And it's also unaffected by Deflect as well. Yeah, so in theory, if you're really far away, it should knock them back 4 meters and knock them down for half of a second. And then, let's see, Sigma has no passive. However, he sort of does, because he floats. Therefore, check this out. No footsteps. So him and Zenyatta are the only two characters now that don't make footsteps. Let's talk about his ult, Gravity Flux. We put that on triangle or Y. Sigma floats in the air as he moves around a target, unleashing a fury of gravity. So this is how it works. You push triangle, you start floating, and a target appears on the ground, like Doomfist's Seismic Slam. However, Doomfist is not on the screen, and Sigma still is. So you can die during your ult and get stunned out of it, etc., etc. So first you float, then a target appears really quickly, and then you confirm or cancel. So you can cancel your ult if you'd like to. But if you confirm it and there's targets, you confirm it, and then the targets that are in there after a second and a half will get gripped by gravity, and they fly up, and then they slam down and take a bunch of damage. Now, if they fly up, they take 50 damage, and if they slam down, they take 50% damage of their HP. So Roadhog, in this case, would take 300 damage, whether or not he's at full health. And then... There's so many people watching. Hi! Let's see. And then... And then you can also shoot them while they're in the air as well. And I want to explain all of this before actually demonstrating it, because it all happens kind of quickly. When you float, you don't float automatically. You have to hold the jump button. If you hold the jump button, then you will float up higher. And if you don't, you stay relatively near the ground, right? So this is why the button mapping guide is all kind of messed up for him, because jump must be on the trigger. Because if jump isn't on the trigger, now you're trying to press X to float up, but you can't aim to shoot people, and you just end up being on the ground trying to aim a target and then hope you get somebody. Here's how it works in practice. So I'm holding jump, and then I catch a target, and you can still fire the entire time. So that's his ult. You have 5 seconds to confirm your target, and yeah, it says it's about a 7 meter radius. I'll demo this ult one more time because it's a thing, right? His ult is a thing. So there we go. It didn't do all that. Oh, I guess it did some damage. My word, this is taking forever. There we go. Alright, let's do this again. So using this to float, pick him up, and then you could still fire, and you could still fire and float while you're doing that at the same time. And so that's why I've decided that the jump button should not be on X, because, okay, let me try it once without using any, let me do it once without using any jump, right? Oh, I thought he was gonna fly off. And then you can cancel this with accretion. See how that works. Okay, now I'm gonna do the ult without doing any jump button. So I'm floating, yeah, but only just a little bit. And I did catch a guy. So that is Sigma and all of his abilities. His too long didn't read, and a little bit of his background. I haven't been on in a while. There's a ton of you watching. I'm so excited. I am going to end this stream, and I'm going to start a new stream. And I see all these comments. I don't even know if I could read them from here. Let me see if I can. No. Oh, maybe it's over here on broadcast and comments. Okay. Those are all wonderful comments. I will end this and go over, and we're going to play more Sigma. We're going to maybe do some comp. I'm going to play some Brig. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all for watching, and have fun out there.